Hello, and welcome to the ISPE's ISPEAK podcast. The ISPEAK podcast is where you can learn about hot topics, news, and trends from experts in the global pharmaceutical and biopharmaceutical manufacturing industry. My name is Barbara Peck, and I'll be your host for today's episode. Today we have Dave DiProspero, who's our past chair of the FOIA committee. The FOIA committee helps to organize our events and our education sessions around the FOIA program. And I'm also joined by Tony Crincoli, who is the FOIA judging panel chair. Tony and his team are responsible for selecting the winners each year. And so I work pretty closely with these two guys. So let's hear a little bit about you guys. So Dave, tell us about you.
Yeah, so I'm the Associate Director of Pharmaceutical Process Technology for CRB, Consulting Engineers. I'm based out of Philadelphia area. Been involved in the pharma industry for just about my entire career. I'm upwards of 25 years now, having worked on the equipment vendor side, a little bit on the owner rep side, and for about the past 15, 20 years on the architect and engineering side. Longtime ISPE member and active participant, and the past few years of being involved in FOIA has been awesome.
You know, Dave, I think that your member number might be in like the single or double digits. You've been a member for so long.
Not quite.
Not quite. maybe. And we're also joined by Tony Crincoli. So Tony, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I head engineering for Upjohn, division of Pfizer. On the board of directors of ISPE for the past 4 years. Again, lifelong member of ISPE, been in the industry 35 plus years, I'm afraid to say it.
Lower than mine.
Possibly.
But been leading the judging committee for the past few years. Had the pleasure of working for some great organizations that have made submissions, have gotten to see really what the industry is doing.
Announced our 2019 FOIA category winners here at the EU conference in Dublin. Everyone was really pumped to find out if they won, and all the other attendees were excited to learn a little bit more about the winners. So I thought first we could talk a little bit about what FOIA is, why do we even have FOIA, and then we can delve into a little bit about the individual winners. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds like a good plan. I mean, FOIA, here we are now in our 15th year. So the program has grown and grown over the years. It has really become the premier award program for pharmaceutical capital project construction. We're recognizing innovation in facility design, operational excellence, both large and small facilities and large and small projects. And this year we had the opportunity to award all 7 categories, including equipment innovation, facility integration, facility of the future, operational excellence, process innovation, project execution, and sustainability. And on top of that, a couple honorable mentions. So a good year.
So, I was speaking to one of a few of the attendees actually, and they called our program the Oscars of the pharmaceutical industry. And I thought that was so appropriate because really this is the one place where, our companies can really show their stuff and, get a little recognition for all their hard work.
Yeah, so Oscars is probably a good analogy, right? Because it represents the best of the industry. We call it benchmarking. Right? And in all our companies want to know what's happening out there in the forefront of innovation, what's happening in terms of construction, what's happening in equipment. And this lets the entire industry know in one place what's really exceptional. And it gives them a forum to present it.
Yeah, it's really exciting, especially when we get to annual meeting where we get to hear from the project teams themselves during our education session, during our banquet when they're really celebrated. And, it's a fun night where we get to hear from each of the speakers and really tell our members and our VIPs what being in this industry really means and how it affects patients, their families, their friends, to know that it's not just about checking off boxes and getting the facilities up and running. It's really helping to save lives by getting these medicines out to patients around the world.
Yeah, and that's a great comment, Barbara. And again, here we are today at the Oscars. I guess when we go to the annual meeting in Vegas and announce the overall, I'll call that the Grammys. So we'll tune it up a little bit more. And you're right on. I mean, people are becoming really proud of winning this award. And when they present and when they accept, there really is a pride in the team and the companies they work with. And it is beyond just we've won an award. It really means something to the team and to their effort. So that's pretty significant.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a great program, and I'm happy to have been working with these teams for a couple of years now. So how do we select the winners each year? What is the process? I know that a ton of work goes into putting together these submissions. Dave, your company has helped a lot of these past winners put together their submissions. And so not only are you getting recognition for the owner companies, but also the supplier companies such as yourselves.
Right. Maybe I can talk about the upfront side of the process of submittal, and then Tony from a judge's chair can talk about the back end side of selecting the winners. But what I can tell you is that when a company is ready to submit what they believe to be an award-winning project, it's not an easy undertaking. So although FOIA does give you the nice submittal form with the 16, 18 questions and the instructions of what you need, as you delve into the details and start to try to pull out what's award-winning about this project, it becomes a very, very intensive project. And it's a project in its own to put a submittal together. And at the end of the day, win or lose, that submittal that you put together has some value to the organization because it gives you the opportunity to pull your project together beyond the typical construction and engineering drawing package that you run. Why did I win? Why did I do it? Why do I think it's important? And companies who unfortunately have not won that we've submitted on behalf of and for do still value that document and that process of putting the submittal together within their own organizations. So yes, it's about selecting the project that you believe wins, and then it's about going ahead and putting the story together as to why we believe we won. And with that, we submit it over and we turn it over to ISPE and to Tony and the Judges Committee. And Tony, what happens from there?
Well, so I'll tell you, number one, the Judges Committee are a very distinguished group, right? They're industry recognized leaders. And these are folks that, number one, have had the privilege of working on a lot of different projects. So they know what goes into, quote, a, innovative, unique project. But they also have the benefit of having reviewed multiple projects, and that's really what this process is, right? We're looking at, we'll call it the best of the best, and what makes them truly unique, what makes them truly innovative, and are they worthy of an award? And it's interesting when you get this group of now, 20 plus judges from all across the globe, all different sectors of the business, and all different backgrounds, right? I mean, we're not just talking about engineers, we're talking about quality people, we're talking about supply chain people, we're talking about operations folks. So they truly understand what makes a project valuable, unique, what's a leap above what's happening in the industry. And I'll tell you, the discussions when we get down to reviewing them are actually very contentious. You've got folks that have worked in these industries that have seen these projects and say, well, this is really, really interesting, or you know what, we've done this before 100 times. So it's managing that group, those expectations, and ultimately, in the end, this year in particular, we awarded almost every category, which is very, very unique.
That's very unusual. I think this is my first year in, maybe 5 years where we've given a category win in every category. We just had a really amazing group of projects this year, and I know I was in that meeting and how hard it was to narrow it down because there's just all such great projects. They all deserve recognition for all of the work that they do for not only the project but putting together the submission. I know you mentioned that doing the submission alone is its own project, and I was actually standing next to Steve from Takeda next to me, and he said doing the project is almost as much as, or doing the submission is almost as much as the project. So, well, with that, do we want to go ahead and just talk a little bit about the winners for this year?
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. So again, seven category winners and two honorable mentions, and I mean let's kick it off. So I mean in the area of equipment innovation, the winner is Janssen Pharmaceutical, Janssen Sealag in Latina, Italy, for their dose pack equipment project.
Yeah, so this is real interesting, right? Because again, we talk about FOIA, we talk about innovation, right? And sometimes it's not earth-shattering innovation, but sometimes it's really cool stuff. So what Janssen did here was they took some existing technology, or literally RF chips, and they integrated it with their packaging so that every dose had this chip on it. Well, okay, you're asking what does that really do? Well, now when the patient gets this, they can sync it up with their smart device, and one of the biggest issues in the industry is compliance, right? The patients, you can get the medicine to them. Do they take it? Are they sure of it? And this really hit the mark, and it was really unique, a jump above what we saw in the industry.
And really along the lines of the Pharma 4.0, right? The digital age that
Yep.
we're in. That's a great example. The second winner went to Pfizer. Pfizer in Hangzhou, China. They won on facility integration for their global biotechnology center.
So we've seen a lot of disposable facilities being built. In this case, this was really the first largest of the disposable class, 2,000 liter, built by a multinational company in China. It was the result of a lot of contributions and a lot of different strategies, right? People think of just throwing a plastic disposable reactor in place and you're done. Well, it's not that easy, right? It's about building a modular platform, which they did. It's about integrating all the digital technology. It's about doing this in a place where it hadn't been done before. So truly integration, truly an achievement doing it in location where they did, and it was truly deserving of this award.
So Facility of the Future category, which is a category that was added just a few years ago, has been awarded to Moderna Inc. Moderna is in Norwood, Massachusetts. And their project was for a new CMC, clinical manufacturing facility.
Okay, now you talk about Facility of the Future. This is really cool stuff, right? So this is what we call the next generation of biotech, what we call the new modalities. So what they actually produce are mRNA medicines. So this is like the body cells that produce these proteins that are turned into medicines, right? And what's interesting about this facility is that they created it on a level of production. Very, very challenging to do this work because it's generally personalized medicine. It's very small scale. It's very the logistics around it. What they did was able to integrate a digital platform across the manufacturing of this product that enabled them to really reach just number one, a commercial scale, but a very unique product for all the way from development into commercial manufacturing.
Very cool. So in the area of operational excellence, we went not too far down into Switzerland, into Schaffhausen, Switzerland for KZ Pharma, the new compounding pharmacy for Canton Zurich hospitals, the operational excellence award winner.
So this is interesting, right? So generally you think of the pharmaceutical world as big pharmaceutical manufacturers, but there's a very large segment of the market which is actually compounding hospitals. So how is this project different? Well, this was a step change in the way hospitals actually make medicines. So what they did was to put a diagnostic test to not only formulate the prescription, but to manufacture the injection through production into the patient in less than 90 minutes. I mean, we've all been to hospital, so you know what it takes to get, now think of literally compounding a medicine and getting it to the patient beginning to end in 90 minutes. So truly, truly remarkable. And, for a lot of our markets that depend on this type of medicine delivery, it's truly, truly unique.
So talk about personalized medicine. There you go, right? So then the category of process innovation stood right here in good old Ireland. So Cork, Ireland for Kinsale for Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly won for their IE2 small volume continuous manufacturing facility.
So, Lilly has been a leader in continuous manufacturing. In fact, last year we awarded Lilly as well. And what they've done is they're replicating this across their platforms. So this was unique in that it's really around small volumes. And they did this spoke and wheel type layout where all these different skids could be connected together and produce a continuous process. The facility is unique in that it also includes process analytical technologies, automation, and other things that ensure that the product is actually quality driven, it's safe, and produced in a continuous fashion. Really, really cool stuff.
Very nice. So the Project Execution Award goes out to the same company, Pfizer Inc. So Pfizer also won for facility integration, and the judges felt that project execution was important. Once again, their Hangzhou, China project. Why both awards?
So this is interesting, right? And project execution, we probably get the most submissions for. And we think, the judges always look at this, and sometimes we don't award it because we don't see anything significantly different year on to year. In this case, what we recognize that, number one, this was a state-of-the-art facility, absolutely new in terms of the integrating biologics technology with modular technology, but putting it in a greenfield site in China, one of the first of its kind, incredibly large budget. Very, very challenging schedule. Not that every project we work on isn't schedule, cost, and scope driven, but that they were able to deliver this project in under 25 months is really, really incredible.
Great. So one of the categories awarded this year that has not been awarded, if I recall correctly, in the past several years, is sustainability. So sustainability was awarded this year to Celgene. Celgene's project in Canton, Switzerland for the Green Ferry project, the La Fe Verte, if I pronounce that correctly, and Celgene International for sustainability.
So again, I'd say the number two category we receive a lot of submissions on is sustainability. And again, here we thought we've seen it all, and as you said, Dave, we don't award this often because we haven't seen a significant leap in the submissions. This was very, very unique. Number one, it was really integrated as an entire overall site concept. So they not only did the typical energy efficient equipment, the typical energy recovery, but they used geothermal energy, they used recovered heat sources, they used photovoltaic panels, they used green chemistry, which won a lot of the judges' hearts on this project. And for that reason, we thought it was worthy of the award.
From that meeting, I remember how impressed everyone was by this particular project, especially the use of thermal energy. I thought that was really cool. So it was a great project.
Very cool. So then the judges do have the opportunity to award honorable mentions. So outside of the 7 standard categories that we select from, you say, hey, there's one that stands out for whatever reasons. Well, this year we have 2. And the first is Avexis. Avexis out of Chicago, Illinois, was honorable mention for their next generation manufacturing facility for a next generation medicine.
Yeah,
so about next generation, Tony.
So again, this is one of the new modalities that we're looking at. So Avexis is promoting a gene therapy. Again, very, very challenging to manufacture. It's a complicated process. And for Avexis, who's new to the industry, to be able to deliver this facility, which they did in essentially a modular site with the ability to go from a R&D / academic environment to a commercial level to produce gene therapies was really, really unique. In terms of some of the technologies that they use the standard technologies in terms of single use. They use the modular facilities, but for such a we'll say newcomer to the business, for a new modality, and to innovatively use a lot of existing technologies, we just saw was very, very unique and was worthy of a mention.
Very nice. That was Avexis. So the second honorable mention, and these guys now go back to back with awards, is Takeda again. So Takeda, formerly Shire, is given an honorable mention for their Georgia manufacturing facility in Social Circle, Georgia, USA. Why was that one an honorable mention?
So many of us will know this project simply because it was so large and complex. And when the judges looked at this, and it was interesting because we looked at it and said, you know what, okay, they're using some great technology, may not be cutting edge. It's an enormous scale. It's a very complex area in an area of the United States that's really not known for biotechnology. But in terms of being able to deliver a project this large, this complex, in the time frame that it took, considering that it went through 3 different companies, right? The acquisition ultimately, of Shire and Takeda, we thought was unique because generally what we see is projects stall, and to the credit, they were able to actually deliver this project, on time, safely, and ultimately meet the objectives of delivering, this critical plasma product to their patients.
So those were our 9 awards that we just gave out less than an hour ago, and it's pretty cool. So that's where we are, Barbara.
I'm really excited to work with all of these teams over the next 6 or 8 months before annual meeting, when they have the chance to really promote their projects. We have blog posts that support the awards. We send out messages to members. We put it on LinkedIn so that everyone knows who these winners are. And then it all culminates at annual meeting when they come and talk about their projects during an education session. We really hear from the project teams. You get to hear what worked, what didn't work. You can learn from their successes and their mistakes so that you can apply those same best practices to your projects. So it's a really great education session. And then that night, that same evening, we have our banquet. So our banquet is the fun night where everyone gets to celebrate. We're hoping that Dave will, put on a show for us. He's our MC.
Can't promise that.
We'll see. We've got some arm
though.
twisting between now and then. So we're going to be in Las Vegas. So it'll be a fun night. You can come and meet the FOIA winners yourselves. They bring their top executives, some of their suppliers will come, and it's really a great night for celebration. And then on Tuesday of annual meeting is when everyone will find out who the overall winner is. And so that is a huge end to this year, where that winner will get announced at our member breakfast, and we'll get a chance to hear a little bit from them on what worked for them, and then we'll celebrate. So I'm really looking forward to all of the hearing about all these projects and learning more and more as we go on. So I'm excited.
Yeah, and that's cool. And you brought up a point. As much as we talked about these winners and these names, the project is more than just the company and the project team. So you referenced the rest of the team that goes along with that. There's engineers and architects and construction managers and equipment technology folks and validation firms. And there are a ton of contractors to the owners that participate in this, and they too are award winners. So when Pfizer and Lilly and Shire win their project, the firms that were part of that team are also winners. And back to the banquet and the annual meeting, that's the opportunity as well for these suppliers and contractors to be part of this award and part of this win.
Awesome, and thanks for leading it, Barbara.
Yeah, great
I
job.
have learned so much about what you guys do in your daily lives just by working on this program. I knew nothing about pharma when I started working with ISPE, so now I can speak intelligently about what happens and all of the work that goes into making that little pill that you take. And so it's a lot of fun, and of course I love working with you guys. We're a good team.
Yeah,
it's been a couple years.
We're gonna have
we
some
just
more
get
fun.
better and better every year. So all right, well thanks
for having
everyone.
us.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
I'd like like to thank you for listening to today's episode and invite you to check out our audio library, where you can search for recordings on a variety of topics relevant to ISPE. To find the library or to find out more information about us, visit our website, ispe.org. And if you'd like to suggest a topic you want to learn more about or even be a panelist on this podcast, drop us a note to see how you can participate. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.